Time is ticking on the fragile ceasefire in the Middle East. President Trump says a U.S. delegation will head to Pakistan today for peace talks. Sources tell CBS News Vice President J.D. Vance, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner will again lead the negotiations. Yesterday on Face the Nation, former White House advisor Amos Hochstein, who was part of the Biden administration, said these talks are critical.
The Iranians now have a card they never had before in practice. In theory, we knew they can close the straits, but they never did. And now, for the foreseeable future, they have this card against us and against their neighbors.
Iranian state media says officials from Tehran will not attend the negotiations today. Iran is vowing retaliation after U.S. forces seized one of its tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. That cargo ship was allegedly trying to get past the U.S. blockade in the waterway. CBS News senior correspondent Charlie D'Agata is following the latest developments out of the Middle East from Tel Aviv.
With the clock running down on that ceasefire, tensions are only cranking up. Iran shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, opening fire on passing oil tankers, and U.S. officials I spoke with say the crew of that Iranian ship just ignored warnings after a 6-hour standoff. First, the U.S. Navy destroyer warns the crew of the Iranian cargo ship Tosca.
Motor vessel Tosca, vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
Several rounds are fired toward the vessel. Later, under the cover of darkness, U.S. Marines launch a helicopter raid, rappelling onto the deck of the stricken ship, which is now in U.S. custody. Central Command said while more than 24 commercial vessels have been turned back, this is the first seizure since the U.S. blockade was imposed last week. U.S. officials said the Tosca, headed toward Iran, failed to comply with orders despite 6 hours of warnings. Iran has threatened to retaliate, the most serious threat yet to the fragile ceasefire that expires this week. While the U.S. military presence in the region continues to grow, officials tell CBS News the USS Gerald R. Ford, which has now undergone the longest aircraft carrier deployment since the Vietnam War, has rejoined the fight, transiting the Suez Canal to the Red Sea. More than 50,000 U.S. troops and the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier remain in this region, and more are on the way. A third carrier, the George H.W. Bush, is due to arrive by the end of the month, to be joined by thousands more Marines sailing from the Asia-Pacific region. Iranian officials describe the capture of that merchant vessel as a hijacking and an act of piracy. Now, we know that ship had been identified under U.S. sanctions, but it's not exactly clear what it was carrying. Back to you.
All right, Charlie, thank you very much. A key sticking point of the war has been Iran's stockpile of highly enriched uranium. President Trump says the U.S. will take what's left either through diplomacy or boots on the ground. On 60 Minutes, Cecilia Vega spoke to the man behind Project Sapphire. That's an operation to get enriched uranium out of Kazakhstan back in 1994.
From touchdown to takeoff, Project Sapphire took 6 weeks to remove more than 1,300 pounds of bomb-grade uranium from Kazakhstan. Would the same mission be possible today in Iran?
In Iran, we couldn't send a team in to do this unilaterally without great risk. You would need to set up in the middle of the country a secure perimeter. It would probably take thousands of U.S. troops to secure the facility while our experts excavated the HEU that's located inside deep tunnels at a place called Isfahan.
And you can stream Cecilia Vega's full 60 Minutes report on CBSNews.com, the free CBS News app, and on Paramount+.